Hello everyone and welcome back to my Unreal Engine tutorial series. In this episode we'll be creating our AI that walks around the world and be able to chase us, the player. So let me show you what I mean. As you can see, the AI has been walking around, and once it's done with this task, it will now start chasing us around the world. And then if we run away completely, it will go back to patrolling. So let me show you how easy it is to set this up, and let's get into your own game. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the AI. So what I'm going to do first is, half the two enemies we have here, I'm just going to delete one of them because we only need one, right? Something I want to do before we actually get to the coding is we're going to move this guy into this section. And we're going to add a Navmesh bounce volume, which is this green thing here. So if I delete it, I just go here and search Navmesh bounce volume, this one over here. And that will create this little box, right? So what we want to do is we want to put this on the floor, and then we want to expand it out to however big we need it to be. So that's 20, it's a bit too big for what I want. So let's do that to make that the space, right? So basically, wherever the Navmesh bounds volume is where the engine calculates the AI to walk. So for now, I only want them to walk here, but we could cover the whole arena and they could walk around the whole space. So now that we've got our AI or our enemy here, what we want to do is we want to now give them a controller so that they can start working. So come over to your content folder, create a folder called AI. This is where I was working on the state trees, which I said we weren't going to do, because I don't understand them. So all we're going to do now is we're going to come in here and create a new controller. So we're going to go to blueprint class, and we're going to search here for AI controller, this one over here, and we're just going to name it BP AI controller, right? And we're going to find wherever this is in the blueprints, which I think I stuck under enemies, which I did. So we're just going to drag this into our AI folder so that we can work with all our AI here, right? And because we already named it enemy base, that's fine, because we will make children of this when we need to. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our BPI controller and go to the event graph, and we're going to delete these and check for event on possess, right? I'm going to cast to BP enemy base, like so, and we're just going to promote to variable, call this enemy base ref, right? Then what we need to do is we need to open up our AI, and this one's is here. We're going to click on the BP enemy base here and just go to the search section and type in AI or controller. Here we go, and we're going to change that to our new one, which is this BP AI controller. Save, exit. So after we've done this, we're going to drag out here and go run behavior tree. And now we need a behavior tree asset. So basically a behavior tree is all the tasks and actions that our AI is going to do. So come over back to your AI folder, right click and go to artificial intelligence and get behavior tree. And we'll call it BT for behavior tree, and we'll call this base enemy. And we're going to need something else. We're going to need something called a blackboard, which is basically the AI's way to store variables, specifically to the AI controller, not to the enemy itself. So we're going to come over here, make a new blackboard, label it BB blackboard, we call this base enemy, right? Cool. So open that up as well as our behavior tree, like so. And to get the behavior tree to use our blackboard, we're going to click on the root here and go over to the side here, and you can see we've already added it here. It automatically should add it. If it's not there, just select it. Okay, so the self actor in our blackboard is basically a reference to the AI itself. So in this enemy, now that we've got the AI controller, it will always reference itself. So if we go over back to our AI controller, we can now add the behavior tree to the possess, right? Control, save. Now, a behavior tree is basically like I said, a sequence of tasks that the AI will do, right? So if I drag off here and go selector, basically a selector is what the behavior tree will use to determine a task. So if I was to have a task, let's say the move to task here and the move to task here, right? We would have a condition on the selector or on here. So let's say we had our walk somewhere, and then there was a cooldown that we set there that they couldn't walk or do this task again for say 20 seconds. The AI would obviously then go down the behavior tree, go back to the selector and shoot to the first task. As you can see, we've got 0 here, 1 there, 2 there, right? So basically this is how the behavior tree will run. It'll go 1, well, route doesn't really do anything, but it'll go first task, second task, third task, and it'll always go that route. So if we put a condition here, it will go selector, it'll go like, yes, we want to do this task, and it says, no, we can't do this task. Oh, okay, it'll send it back here and shoot it down to the side, and then do this task, and so forth, so forth. So as long as we've got conditions, we can have as many nodes to here, right? Like this. But what we can do instead is we can add a sequence, and basically a sequence is like a sequence in our normal task. We can add a bunch of things to happen here. So we can go by the enemy to move to this, and then we're gonna have them play an animation and then have them play a sound, right? Or whatever. So it will always happen in this sequence. So it will go move first because it's on the left, play animation next, and play a sound afterwards, right? And if we were to move the play sound to here, it would play the sound first, then the move to, and then the animation. So you can see how it updates these little numbers in real time. So if I was to move this back here, you'll see it becomes a 4 and then becomes a 2, right? So that's how we would essentially work the behavior tree, or how behavior trees will run using just these simple tasks. So what we want to do now, so we want to now be able to make our AI walk around this space, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to our BP enemy base, and we're going to create 2 variables, right? We're going to call one patrol points, and we're going to call the other one patrol index. So patrol points is going to be type of target actor. So if we could say here, we go target, we can look for target point, this one over here. We're going to make an object reference, and we want to change this to be an array so we can have multiple of them. Make sure it's instance editable and exposed on spawn. Then the patrol index, we're going to make it an integer and leave that at 0. We can make that instance editable and exposed on spawn as well, right? And let's just make these into their own category. So let's call it patrol, both of these, right? So the reason we make these target points is that we can place the target points in the world and reference them directly. So let me show you what I mean. If we go over to our world here, we can now add an actor called target points like this, and just make sure they're on the ground. I found that if they're not on the ground or close to the ground, the AI has a very hard time locating them or trying to get to them. So we're going to add one here, then we can add another one over here, and we're going to add another one over here, and say the last one is going to be up here. Right, so there's our patrol points. We've got 0, 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, right? So if we come over to our AI now, I'll click on it, we're going to scroll down, you'll see there's this patrol section which we created, which are these variables which we created here, right? So what we can do is we can go to patrol points and click to add 4 of them, because we've got 4 points. And then we can just go in and select them like so, right? And remember how indexes work. It starts at 0, it goes to 3, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we have 4 points, right? So our patrol starts 0, which is here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's move our AI to up here actually, so that it starts from there. So we've put this onto this enemy specifically because when we create children, we want them to be able to patrol as well, and it's easy to do this. And by making it these target points, it makes it easy for us to place things in the world without it costing resources or too many resources, and multiple actors can reference them. So now that we've done that, let's go back over to our Blackboard, and we're going to add a new key called vector, and we're just going to call this target location, right? And the reason we're creating this here is we need it as a variable that all AI will be able to use. So this target location is essentially going to find these target points in the world and relay them back to the behavior tree so that our AI knows where to go. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our behavior tree. We're going to create a new task. So come over to your AI folder. We're going to create a new folder here called tasks. And inside this here, we're going to create a new task called BT task. We're going to say patrol. Or let's rather name it find patrol target patrol points, right? And once we're in here, all we're going to do is we're going to override and we're going to get this receive execute AI, and that's essentially when we call it here. So if we call this this one here, let's just compile and save this, otherwise we might get an error. So if we go BT task find patrol points, now we've got this. So when we start, it will go 0 1 or 0 1, always 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, so from here we're going to cast to BP enemy base like so, and it's just promotes variable again. So we have a reference enemy base reference like so, and now we're good to go from there. So what we're going to do then is we're going to drag out from here, get it, we're going to get our patrol points, get the patrol points like so, and then we're going to get the patrol index, and we're just going to get a copy like so, and we're going to find the index like this, right? So essentially what we're going to do is every time our AI gets to a patrol point or a patrol target, we're going to increase this index by 1, right? So that it can move from one to the next. So from here, we're going to get the actor location, which is getting the world location of these target points. And then from here, we're going to go set Blackboard value key as vector. And because we're dragging out from a vector already, we've got this. So from here, we're going to promote a variable, and we're just going to call this Blackboard target location. And you'll see it becomes a Blackboard key selector, which is this here. So if we search it here, Blackboard key selector, and that just searches our Blackboard for this essentially, right? Great. So if we compile and save this, if we go back to our tree here, I forgot to make it instance editable, that's why. So if we go back here, now we can see we've got this target location. And all we want to do is we change this to target location so that it knows where we're looking for, right? And then we need to do some checks. So we're going to drag out our enemy base, get it again, get our patrol index, like so. Oops. And we're going to get the patrol points, and we're going to get the length, right? So this is just going to return how many indexes there are on our patrol points. But the problem with this length is it starts at 1. So as you know, with our index, it starts at 0. So what we need to do is we need to subtract. So subtract by 1 so that it starts at 0 and not 1, right? And from here, we're just going to make sure that this is equal to this. All right, connect it up like this. So basically it says if our patrol index is not the length of this, we then need to increment, right? So what we're going to do is copy these two nodes over here, and we're going to increment. Now increment is great for one specific reason, is that it will always increase and set the value by 1. So if we were to do this manually, we'd go add and add 1, and then we'd set patrol index to be the new value, and then connect it up, blah 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 blah. But since we're only going up by 1 every time, we can just use this increment and that will work fine, right? So we're going to connect this to the false, because remember, our patrol index is not equal to our length, so we're going to have to increment it, right? And from here, we're going to go task success or success, finish, execute, that's the one, and make sure you tick it. And so it says this was a successful task. Right. And now what we need to do is we need to get this again. Oh, sorry, just this one. And we're going to connect it up here. I'm going to go set patrol index to 0. Right. So what essentially we're doing is we're saying if our current patrol index is equal to the total length, then go back to 0. So what we could do as well is do a decrement if we wanted, which would essentially just do the same. It would go from 3 back down to 0. So let's actually do that and do that like that, right? So what we want to now do is go over to our behavior tree. This logic just finds the points, so it actually hasn't made our AI do anything, but now we're going to go move to, add this here, and essentially we're going to set the blackboard key that's moving to the target location, right, which we've set here. And then we're going to make them wait at each section for say 3 seconds, right? Oh, sorry. So all this is correct, but I forgot we need to put this into a sequence. So just connect this up like this, and like this, right? So don't use the selector, make sure it's a sequence, because otherwise you're going to have problems. So just make sure that your find target patrol, for instance, is on the left, move to on the right, and wait in the middle. So if we now go ahead and check, if we run, our AI should technically start moving to each one after a couple seconds. So you can see, just wait for it to get to the end. And then after 3 seconds, it should go back to the previous point, which it does. Okay, so let's fix the not walking part, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to our enemy base, open it up, and this will probably affect our character as well, since we're all using the same controller, animation blueprint. So open it up, and we just want to go over to the event graph, and we're going to be changing how the logic works here, right? So this is all defined, so we just need to go to the locomotion and basically get rid of this idle. So we're just gonna get rid of it and then connect this into here, and we can connect this back into here, and probably just change this to automatic rule based on sequence, like so. Yep. So now if we play, our character should walk correctly. Okay, so there is a problem with the AI, which I'll show you now. So we're going to get rid of the walk stop, so that we just have the walk. Ground forward percent, what is this? Okay, let's also get the direction. So if we come over here, we'll just go off this node here. Okay, so to calculate our direction, we're just gonna go off of the set velocity and ground speed, which is gonna come to the end here, and we're gonna do a couple things. So we're first gonna get our character reference, so drag this out like this. I'm gonna get the actor rotation, and we're gonna get this velocity, this essential movement velocity, and we're going to get the calculate direction and connect these up like this, and we're going to clamp it. Make sure to clamp float. I'm going to set the minimum value to -45 and +45. This is just to make sure that our character isn't snapping too far. And from here, we're going to get a select node, like so. Connect this up like this, connect this up like this. And then we're just going to get our movement component reference again, and we go orient, get orient rotation to movement, and connect this up like that, right? It should auto switch. So this is just basically if let's say our AI is locked on, they will rotate nicely, whereas if they're not locked on, they'll rotate a bit differently. And then from here, all we're going to do is promote this to a variable, call this direction, like so, and just connect this up to the end, like so. Right, and we can move this down, and this is calculate direction. I'm pretty sure I spelled that incorrectly. Anyway, so that's that, and now we're just going to come back over to our locomotion, and on this BS locomotion, we're just going to get our direction and connect it up like so. Right, compile and save, and now the AI should walk normally. Let's hope. Okay, so to fix this, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate our character's animation blueprint and change some things inside, right? So we already got this called ABB Mani, so let's check in here. So let's change the code in this one so that it's directly for the AI. So let's come over to our blueprint class and just change this to Mani AI, compile. And there shouldn't be any differences for now, but now we need to change all of this here, right? So we're going to get rid of all of this. So keep the get only actor. We're going to go cast to character. Now this is just a generic character, so essentially we would use this for everything, but in our original animation blueprint we've got a bunch of references to double jumps and stuff, so let's not going to use that for the AI. So what we're going to do, come over here, promote this to a variable, call it as character, put it in the references. We're going to get the movement component. Get movement component. This one? No. Yeah, just go movement component. Sorry, it should be character movement. Character movement, this bottom one, the light blue one. And then we're just going to promote that to a variable. And then we call that character movement. And then basically everywhere you see movement component, we're just going to change that to this character movement. Like so. And then we can go ahead and get the directionality that we set up here, just copy and paste. But we just need to change the variables. Right click on this, create the direction. So we're going to go character movement to here, as character to there. Change here to as character. No, okay. No, so this is the double jump. We can actually just get rid of this. And the same for the wall jump, so we can get rid of this. We don't need any of it. Make sure to change this to the as character, so drag it out, get. Change this to a validated get. And then connect this up like so, right? Get rid of that. And now if we compile, we should be able to now get all the same. So what we need here for this is falling. We're just going to get our character movement and check is falling. Should be this one. Yep. So connect it up like that. Control. So. And then we're going to come over to the animation graph. So double click here, go to locomotion, get rid of the idle because we don't need it, and go to straight to walk, open it up, and the strafe is just going to be a directionality, connect that up, and now our character should walk. There we go. Our character is now walking. And as you can see, they walk to each point. And then they should go back. So that's AI patrolling. Okay, so that's just on the condition. So let's just make it so that our AI will always walk back to the original spot. So come back over to here, and we're just gonna go set patrol index, and we'll set it to 0, and then just finish the task up, right? Get rid of that. And that will be it for the patrolling. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make the character be able to sense us. So come over to your AI controller, and we're going to go in here, we're going to add the AI perception node. And we're going to change some stuff in here to get it to how we want. So we're going to come over to sensors config, and we're going to add sight as our main one, right? Dominant sense, set it to sight. Sorry. Now we're going to come in here and change a couple of variables, right? So this sight radius is how far our character can see, and lose sight radius is how far how we need to be from our character for the lose sight of us, right? So let's just make this way lower, something like that, and change the cone to maybe 65. And very important, you change these couple things. We just want to change this detection by affiliation to all be on. As far as I understand it, there is a bug with blueprint coding where the AI can't detect properly enemies and allies. So that's why we take them all on so that it can pick up everything. And then we need to make sure that this max age is changed as well, because if it's set to 0, our enemy will always see the player. So if it spotted us once, it knows where we are in the world forever. So we just want to change this to say 2 seconds for now for debugging, because otherwise it's going to take a bit long. So compile and save. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over back to our blackboard, and we're going to add in a new object type key. We're going to call this target. Just call it target, that's fine. And we're going to change this object to be of type, no, that's fine there. But I think if we drop down this here, the base class needs to be changed to actor. Like that, right? Okay. So now if we come over here, we've got the sequence which is patrol. So let's just move this all over here. Comment this as patrol. I'm going to put this down here. Actually, let's move this over. We want this to be behind. So we're just going to get another sequence node out here. And we're going to do 2 things. We're going to make the character walk to us, so there'll be a move to node, and then we're also going to change a couple things. So let's go over to our character base and just change the max walk speed. So currently it's 600. Let's drop that down to say 300 so that it's always walking at us. And now what we're going to do is going to come over to our behavior tree, and on this move to, we're going to change this to the target, right? So this is going to be when it sees us as the player, it will now move towards the target. But I also want it to be so that when the enemy sees us, it increases their movement speed, right? So create a new task, blueprint base, and we're going to go into the tasks here. We're going to say update movement speed, right? Okay, and we're going to go execute AI. As this controlled pawn, we're going to go get component by class. I'm going to get the character movement component. I'm going to go get max or set max walk speed, set max walk speed. Next up, and connect this up like this, and we're just going to promote this to a variable and make it instance editable like so, right? And that's and we need the finish, what's it? Execute, I can't spell, execute, or is it finish? Finish execute, that's it. And make sure it's ticked on to say it's successful. Let's come back over to behavior tree and we're just going to drag it here and we're going to go update movement speed. And now that it's here, we can change how fast we want it to be. So let's say we're going to make it 450, so when it spots us, it will then move to us, right? But for now, let's go over how to actually make it sense us. So come over to your AI controller, create a new function. I'm going to call this update target character target, right? Okay. And from here, we're going to get the AI perception and go get all perceived, get actors perception. I think that's it. Oh, sorry, it's not that one. It's get known perceived actors, which is all fine. And from here, we're gonna go for each loop. So essentially, it's gonna go through all the actors it can see and add them to this array, which we're gonna create now, right? So we need to then drag out here and go add. Let's actually create a new variable, local variable. Call it local scene actors. It's going to be type actor, object reference, but it's going to be an array. Like so, compile and save. And we're just going to drag this out. We're going to go add, like this, add there, and there. So basically, when our AI sees something, it's going to add it to this array of scene actors. Then what we need to do is we need to drag this out again and see if our scene actors, so the actors in the variable, if they contain the player character. Get player character. And the way we're setting that up here is specifically for the player character. If we were to have allies, we'd obviously then have to change the code. But for this, we're just doing the player. As with like Spyro and stuff, it's only ever just the player, right? So what we're going to do now is we need another function. And go set target. And this is just going to set the target for our blackboard. So what we need to come in here is get a new input, and it's going to be type of new. Oops, I'm typing it all. New target. And this will be of type actor, like so. And then we're gonna get blackboard. Not that one. Is it this one? Nope. Get blackboard. This one over here. That's the one you want to get. Right click and convert to value get, right? And this is just basically saying that when we look at our blackboard, we're checking to see that this target is valid and that the blackboard is valid, so that we can set the value. So from here, we're going to go set value as object. And then obviously that allows us to change the blackboard's variable. And from the key name, we need to make sure we name this correctly. So go make literal name. And that needs to be exactly what it is here, which is target. So you can spell it correctly. If you don't spell it exactly the same, it won't work. And then we can just connect a new target into there, right? And that will be our new objective. So once that's done, all we're going to do is come back over to our update and we're going to set the target. So if it does contain the player character, we're just going to set the new target as the player character, right? And if it doesn't, if there is no perceived actor that is the player, we're going to set it as nothing, so that our AI isn't going to see anything or follow anything. So come back over to your event graph and we're going to go set timer by function name. And the function name will be the update target. So just come over here, there's update character target, copy and paste, set it to looping, and we want it to update every 0.1 second, right? Okay, so compile and save. Now come over to our character base. There's just something I want to change, so we're going to come over here and get rotation. And we're gonna go orient rotation to movement and use controller rotation you're turned off, right? This will just make our character turn nicely instead of snapping when it sees us. So it's just something nice that I found. So let's do that. And then we're gonna come over to our blackboard. And essentially what we want is to add a condition on the sequence so that our character, if they don't see us, they won't follow us. Even though we've set it in the function here, it doesn't tell the behavior tree that it needs to stop. So what we need to do is right click on the sequence and go add decorator, and decorator is basically just our conditions, right? So go select blackboard and now select the condition, and we want to change this query, right? And we want to make sure it's set, the blackboard key is set to target, and this is set. And then we want to change this to observer reports on self. So anytime this updates, it will then check if the AI can see us or not, right? So let's check if that works. So now save everything. And the AI shouldn't see us right away because it's facing that way. But if we come and walk into its path, you should see it will not. Wait, maybe it's because, yeah, it's because of the patrol. So it needs to finish the patrol task before it goes to us. But as you can see, it's now following us. And if we run away, it will then go continue patrolling. And then if we walk back, after it's done patrolling, it will, oh yeah, it's got to go all the way back to 0. And now that that's done, it will now follow us around. And you can see it's rotating a bit smoothly, so that's much better. And then if we run away again, or outside the perception, it will go back to patrolling. Alright. That's going to be it for this episode. I hope you learned something. In the next episode, we'll be going over making the AI be able to damage us, and so forth. So for now, we're just going to go ahead with this. Yeah, if you have any more questions, let me know, but I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.